Good morning, everybody. We're going to start in a minute. I see there's just a lot of people joining, so let's just give them about a minute to actually join in, and then we'll start. Okay, I think most of the people have already joined, so we're going to start this morning session. Welcome everyone to this morning session. I'm Rizwana Ahmad, Head of Retirement Fund Administration at NMG Benefits. Today I have my team with me. My co-presenter is Ilse Stevenson. I also have with me here Sharon Nagdi, Yadna Singh, Madeleine Brimmer, Malatani, Nas Khan, and Gus Arnold. So these are our senior managers at NMG Administration Division, Retirement Fund Admin. They're going to be assisting myself and Ilse today just to field some of your questions. In terms of your questions, nobody will be able to voice their questions, but if you look at the bottom of your screen, you have a Q&A button there. You can click on that and you can type in your questions. We'll try and answer as many as we can, or the team will assist in answering as many as they can during the session. But we also have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation where we will go through your questions. And if any of those we cannot get through today, we will then email responses to you. So thank you, everybody, once again for joining us on this session. We're going to start with the session. First, we're going to look at the agenda for today. So on the agenda, we have the overview of the fund rules and the next steps where we are, the roles and the responsibility of clients, that's all of you that are present here today. How ready are we as NMG? Then we're going to do a demo of the savings withdrawals on WhatsApp, web claims, and the benefit statements, and then the Q&A section. So we'll go then to there. So to start off with, in terms of our rules and where we are. So the most important thing is your rule amendment has to be approved before 1 September 2024 for the FSCA, by the FSCA in order for us to pay a savings withdrawal benefit. Most of our funds were submitted by the first cutoff date, which was the 15th of July 2024. We have a handful of funds that still needed a little bit more time, and the FSCA extended this date to 31 July, which is today. So we're hoping to get just that last stretch of funds in by the end of today, so we can have all our rule amendments submitted to the FSCA, and for the FSCA to consider and approve these before 1 September 2024. The FSCA has confirmed in Out of Communication 24 of 2024 that if an amendment is not lodged by today, which is 31 July 2024, these will not be prioritized, but these will be dealt with in the normal course of operation in terms of the current service level commitment by the FSCA. So we know there's a backlog. So if these are not submitted today, the chances of these rule amendments actually being approved in the near future is actually quite slim. If a rule amendment is not approved by 1st September 2024, then unfortunately, the fund will not be able to pay any savings withdrawal benefits from the fund until that rule amendment is approved. Okay, so in terms of your involvement and what do we need from you as HR representative, clients, trustees, consultants, what do we need your help with? So our aim is to make two-pot as seamless as possible. But to do this, we need to ensure that we have accurate data submission for updated personal information in the form of ID or passport numbers, tax numbers, employee numbers, mobile phone numbers, and email addresses. And you will see when Ilse goes through the demonstration that if we don't have this, how the claims process is actually going to fall off the seamless process and actually going to start being a manual process, which actually is going to delay the payment time. We also need to ensure that member records are flagged for Section 37Ds in the form of housing loans, maintenance orders, divorce orders, or misconduct. Very important to note with these Section 37Ds is that we need to get this information from you as soon as you become aware of this, and not only at the claim stage. So we're also going to look at, the next thing we're going to look at is how important are members to the savings withdrawal. Now, currently, and with current legislation, where we have it, any type of withdrawal, be it a resignation or retirement or retrenchment even, the process is initiated by, the claim information is provided by, and the claim is submitted by the employer. The claim is then validated and processed by us as the administrator, and then the monies or the funds are paid directly into the new fund or into the member's bank account. Savings pot changes all of this, or savings withdrawal benefits changes all of this. The two-pot system makes us, or changes the way we think about member-facing end-to-end experience. The process will now be initiated, the claim information is going to be provided by, and the claim is submitted by the member. In all likelihood, the employer may not even know about this until you get reports from us in terms of which of the members have exercised these options. But all of this is going to actually be done by the member. As the administrator, we will then validate or go through the validation process, and then the funds will also be paid directly to the member or the new fund. What happens if we don't get this information from you? So the poor outcomes that we expect without your support. With everything happening, or all this two-pot and savings pot or savings withdrawal benefits wording out there in the media, and even all the communication that's coming out, members realize that they have access to this. So they know they have it, and then they decide to actually action this and to request this withdrawal. So what do? They submit all of their information and they start off the process, but because due to validation, some of it doesn't happen, the member panics. Then he starts calling his HR, they start calling our call center, they're going to start complaining about this because that claim cannot be finalized until that information is updated. And who can update that information? So not anybody can actually update it. We need to make sure that the people sending us this information to change the member information on the system is actually authorized to do so on the fund. As a result, we may have a poor outcome because the member is actually very, very disappointed in the outcome and he couldn't go through the actual process. I've mentioned the methods that we can do, and now we're going to look at them. So there's 3 ways that claims can actually be submitted. We have the WhatsApp, we have the web portal, and we have the claim forms. Ideally, we want these or most of these claims to come through the WhatsApp and the web portal process, which Ilse is going to demo for you. So she will show you the validations that go through, what information is needed, and how that WhatsApp process can work. She's going to do the same for the web portal. The third option is the one that we don't really encourage, but is the last option available, is the claim forms. And the reason for that is the turnaround times. On your WhatsApp and your web portal, we're looking at turnaround times of about 10 working days. It's going to be sooner, but we'd like to be conservative and say 10 working days for the claim to be paid out. Remember, we're also reliant on SARS and getting those tax directives. SARS, the volumes that SARS is going to be getting also is something we need to consider, all of those things. So we're saying 10 working days, but when it comes to the manual process is going to take much longer. And that's because there's manual intervention required. All the validations that will be done are manual. We have set up an email address just for saving withdrawal claims. We'll share that with you closer to the time. For now, that email address is not active because we don't want to already start getting in forms and claims in that process. So that's how we're going to access the claim forms. We've also noted, and something that we need to mention is that if you have a member or foreign member who does not pay tax in South Africa, so he's not registered for tax in South Africa, but his taxes are being paid into his country, then we need to look at if there's dual tax agreement with that country. Unfortunately, that will have to be a manual process, so it will have to come through the claims form process. And if that is the case, then it may take also much longer than the 20 working days that we think of in the manual claims forms. So how ready are we in terms of implementing on the 1st of September? So the basics, we're covering the basics in terms of reporting. We had to have a look at all our reporting redesigned for various reasons. We had to have our audit for our audit requirements. We need to have a look at benefit statements that had to be changed, and all of that has to be done. We're happy with the process that we have there. Ilse is also going to demonstrate a benefit statement, so you can see what the new benefit statement will look like. Our staff training, we've been training them monthly in terms of what is two-part, and leading up to 1 September, we're starting this month or in August, a lot of training on the system changes that will allow two-part or savings withdrawal benefit withdrawals, so they can understand what's happening on the system and how to work with those. We need to make sure that our staff are confident, they can work, and we have accuracy and consistency in all our service delivery. Our procedures needed to be updated, and those are being done as we speak. So in line with the reports that have been changed and all the legislations changed, all our procedures have been updated. And then we have the client and member communication. So the first round of member communication has gone out to DC Fund members. DB Fund members, we will send out our communications next week. There's also going to be additional communications going out in the form of posters that we'll send to you, and that you'll be able to print and put up onto your notice boards, etc. So how will we manage the influx of withdrawals? And our answer is straight through claims processing. It's seamless automated claims processing. The disinvestments will also be automated, and that's how we can handle claims in bulk. Remember, this is only automated if we have all the member information updated, and we can go through the WhatsApp process, or if we can go through the web process. If it's a manual process, that is going to have an overall impact in line with the number of days that it actually takes to finalize these claims. On that note, I'm going to hand over to my co-presenter, Ilse Stevenson, and Ilse is going to take us through the demo of the WhatsApp. She's also going to show us the web portal, and she's going to show us a benefit statement.
Yeah, good morning. I'm quite pleased to present to you today with regards to our savings pot withdrawals and the development that we have done in order to cater for these withdrawals as well. So a lot of work has gone in over the last year, I can say, because we've been waiting for this piece of legislation to be promulgated, and we are finally there. So what I've prepared for you today is a demonstration on how we are going to deal with the influx of savings withdrawals. So we anticipate quite a big influx on savings withdrawals, and we want to automate this as much as possible. And so therefore, as Rizwana mentioned a little bit earlier on, the help that we need from you in terms of providing member information. Our automated processes, so our online processes, require this information. And the reason why we need this from a trusted source, which is you as the client, through your contribution schedules, is to guard our members and to keep our members safe, your members safe, in terms of claiming from their savings pot. As Rizwana mentioned, we are moving into a new age where claims are now going to be received directly from members. Before, it was a lot safer, because as it currently stands, when claims are submitted, we receive them from an employer. They are signed off by an authorized signatory. There's a company stamp on it, but now everything changes. And so therefore the source from where we receive personal information from for the members needs to come from the employer. We cannot simply just get the information from a member going forward when they want to make a savings spot withdrawal. But I'm going to take you through our WhatsApp application, and then after this, I'm going to take you through our NMG member portal. So members would be able to submit their claims savings spot withdrawals through the member portal. And a lot of members are using the member portal, so that will be available. Communication is going to go out on how to do this as well in the coming weeks. So members are aware. We've got a team ready to assist members as well with their savings spot withdrawals. But this is what I'm going to demonstrate to you right now. So our WhatsApp application, NMG WhatsApp application, we've been using this for quite a number of years at NMG. It is a tool that members can use, our clients, as well as anyone on the street. With regards to scanning in a QR code, it's as easy as that. Scan in the QR code, which we will provide as well, closer to the time. And adding it adding the WhatsApp application as a contact on your phone. But it's a trusted business account that we've been using to educate members with regards to retirement, their retirement fund, financial issues, medical aid, and so forth. And we've piggybacked onto that with regard to the two-pot system as well. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to go right into doing a demonstration on what a member, and you are also a member of a fund, what you can experience through the WhatsApp application. You can see I've opened this up now. It is a test environment, so it's not live yet. So I'll take you through that process. So you add the contact as the number as a contact on your phone, as I said, or you scan in the QR code and just click on WhatsApp, and it will open up to NMG Benefits, and it will say, hello, this is NMG Benefits. So all you have to do is just say hi. And you can see it says, hello, welcome, you're chatting with NMG Benefits. And then it comes up with a little bit of a menu to assist you. So you can choose from the menu options. You can choose to log into your retirement fund. You can learn about the two-pot system. So there's a whole learning course on WhatsApp to train you or to learn about the two-pot system. You can speak to someone about personal finance. As I mentioned before, we've been using this application for quite some time, medical aid, or anything else, which will put you through to a member counselor, get you in touch with a member counselor. But for this demo, I'm going to say I want to log into my retirement fund. So please, great, I can help you understand and interact with your fund on WhatsApp. I will keep your information secure and only share relevant answers with your retirement benefit provider. And then there's the privacy policy as well. And then let's log you in. So it's going to ask you a few questions now. So it asks you what a member would need is their ID number, their tax number, as well as their employee number. They would need to have that handy. And without that information, you won't get access to your retirement fund. And the WhatsApp application directly connects to our admin system. So if, for instance, like Rizwana mentioned earlier, we don't have ID numbers for members. So it's not been received on the contribution schedule. We have not updated it into the system. If I'm a member and I type in my ID number in the WhatsApp application, it will not verify and I will not get access. And so it goes with the tax number and employee number as well. So those are the three verifications right up front that is done to allow you access. So I'm just going to say, yes, I do have a South African ID number. It will then ask me to type in my ID number. It is now that it connects to our system and it says it can take a few minutes. We just want to see if we can find you on the system. And if we don't have the correct info, then the WhatsApp will come back and say it cannot find you. And it will then give you information to contact NMG. So I just want to add on to this where a member cannot be verified. And we can see here that it's now found me, but where a member cannot be verified, the WhatsApp application will tell the member to contact NMG. Our internal process in terms of savings pot withdrawals is not to update a member's details directly from the member that the member provides onto our system. So we will be fielding these members back to you as the client. So we will be telling the member that unfortunately we cannot update their details onto our system. They need to go to the HR person or payroll officer to update their information. The payroll officer can then provide NMG. So we will provide you with a two-part email address, can provide that information to NMG. And then once we receive the information from the authorized person, we will update into Everest and contact the member back and tell the member he can now go and access WhatsApp again. But it goes without saying, we cannot update information received directly from the member. And this is to protect the members so that not anyone can just go in and try to claim your money on your fund. So therefore, we've got very strict policy with regards to these member-initiated claims. Okay, but then to carry on, it now asks me for my tax number. So the same as what I explained before. Up in your tax number, it's going to go and verify to the system. It just says there, I didn't get that. Can you try again? Make sure you type in the answer carefully. So it gives you one try. I did do something wrong. I'll say again, I have both numbers, and now it's going to tell me again to type in my tax number. And now it says, great, it matches our system. And what is your employee number? So I'll type in my employee number, and we match back to our system again to see that it matches the system. So then you can go ahead. So now WhatsApp will tell you it's official. This chat can be verified. Let's look into your fund details. So you can now select which fund you would like to look at. So it will find all your records on our admin system, and it's going to give you the fund details. In this demonstration, we've got a pension and provident fund. I'm going to go into the provident fund here because I want to also just show you an additional service that we've provided for members on provident funds that were older than 55 at March 2021. So the system will identify that. It will check as well if you are opted into the two-part system. So members that were 55 at 1 March 2021 that joined the fund prior to 1 March 2021, these members would not be opted into the two-part system. So they would have to opt into the two-part system. So our WhatsApp application will allow for that as well. So it tells a member a little bit about that you need to opt into the two-part system. You're opted out. You now have an opportunity to opt in, and you can opt in at any time. But once you've made an election, you can't opt out again. Are you ready to make the decision? So you can either say, yes, you're ready, or no, you need more information. So option B is then going to provide the member with a bit more information about what it means to opt into the two-part system. It will also direct them to a benefit counselor if they need to speak to someone in person before they make this option. But let's say, yes, I want to opt in. Okay. What will you do? Opt into the two-part system, continue to opt out, or go back to choose another fund? I'm going to say, no, I want to opt in. I'll choose A. It will then say, thanks, I've captured your decision in our system. And your provident fund, here is a menu of options to be able to interact more with your fund. So what happens now is it updates into our admin system your opt-in date. So once that happens, the system is then going to seed your benefit. So what it will do is it will do the calculation of your fund credit. It is going to seed 10% to a maximum of 30,000 into your savings pot, and it's going to create a retirement pot as well. And then your vested pot. Your money is then going to be ring-fenced. So let's say I've opted in now. I would like to make a savings pot withdrawal. So I'll choose option D from the list that I can choose from. And it says, great, let me walk you through your savings withdrawal benefit request. There are 8 steps to this process. So now it's going to ask you for the information that you need to update in order to process this savings pot withdrawal. So it first needs to go and see, do you qualify for a withdrawal at this stage? And this is where the interaction with our admin system happens. So in this case, it found that I have 25,000 Rand in my savings pot. And then it will ask me, am I ready to decide on how much I want to withdraw? So I'll say, yes, okay, I'm ready. And how much do I want to withdraw? So I'm going to say 10,000. The validations have been built in, say that you cannot draw more than 25,000, so more than what is available in your pot, but also you can't draw less than 2,000 Rand if you've got a balance less than 2,000. And it will also do a validation to see have you had a savings pot withdrawal in the same tax year as well. So all of those validations are built in, and it will advise you of this. So now it will tell me, so you want to withdraw 10,000 out of your savings pot, is that correct? I'll say yes. It will then come back and it will show me that there's a fee that's going to be deducted. I'll say yes, I want to continue. Then it is going to come back and tell me on my 10,000 Rand, I'll be charged an approximate tax that will be deducted from my benefit. So what the WhatsApp application does is it takes your salary that you currently earn or that's loaded on our system, and if it can't find one, it's going to apply a marginal tax rate to that. This is not an exact amount. This is based on the marginal tax rates, and it's usually between 18 and 45%, but it gives you an approximate figure. We've since built in more validations or more information just to tell you about what a marginal tax rate is as well, for you to make a more informed decision. But in this case, I'm going to say, yes, I do want to continue. It then asks me for my banking details. So it types in, I must type in my name. So I'm just going to say the testing. It then asks me for my type of account. I'll say it's a savings account. It will ask me for my bank account number, and I'll type in the bank account number. And then it asks me for the bank code. Remember, we'd need all of this information as well. And then once done, it will say, ask me for contact information. So where can I be contacted on? I'll type in my cell phone number and then my email address as well. And then I am done. So it will just do a final check on step 8. Are you sure you want to go ahead? And you'll say yes. And this information will now be recorded onto our admin system. So, and it will bring me back to the main menu, and I can then go and ask, search more options that I want to check out. But I think for the WhatsApp application, you could see that the member updated their banking details in terms of the savings pot withdrawal that they want the account to be paid into. In the claims process, the validations that we've got, when these member details are updated into our system, it is going to validate. So it will do a validation based on the member's ID number, according to the SARS algorithm. Then what it does is it sends the banking details through to BankServe. It's an automated process. It's how we currently work at NMG. It sends an electronic submission through to BankServe to verify those bank accounts. And it matches ID number and various other validations that are done to make sure that this is the correct bank account, that it belongs to the member. And also one of the verifications that it does is to see that the bank account has been open for more than 3 months. If a bank account hasn't been open for more than 3 months, it's going to fail the validation. And then a case manager, so an administrator at NMG, would have to contact you to verify your bank account. So we're going to ask you for a letter from the bank stipulating that this account was opened on such and such a date. We're going to ask for certified copies of ID. We're going to get all of that information before we will continue, and then we'll send back to BankServe to validate again. And only once it's validated do we continue with the bank with a savings spot withdrawal. On our system, if a bank account does not verify, we cannot process any payments. Our system will generate a 0 payment instruction. Nothing can be processed through. So that is already operating, and it's a trusted service that we use via Hyphen. I think the second validation that will come in is with the SARS application. So when the tax goes through to SARS, your tax number is validated, your ID number is validated, your personal details are also validated. And then once we receive all of that back in correctly, then only will that claim be processed. Another thing to mention with regards to savings spot withdrawals, I didn't demo this now. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. But if you can have a look here, you will see your withdrawal request has been submitted. You'll be contacted by a case manager within 1 week. They will ask additional documentation regarding your housing loan before deciding whether your withdrawal can be processed. So in this demonstration, we flagged the member record. So with a housing loan, and that could be for a Section 37D in terms of misconduct, or it could be for divorce order or maintenance order. The system will be flagged, and therefore it will advise the member that someone will contact them, because we first need to go and check to see, can we pay this out? So in terms of a housing loan, just quickly, we will phone the bank. We're going to ask for your outstanding balance. We're going to check that across all 3 your pots, savings, retirement, and vested pot, that there's enough money if you take your withdrawal to pay that indebtedness. And then only will we continue with the claim process. So therefore, it's very important that we are notified of any flaggings that need to be applied. Housing loans, we're okay with. We get the book from the bank, and we do have our recons on a monthly basis. So we flag member records on a monthly basis. Misconduct, we rely on you to provide that. Divorce orders, as soon as you know, let us know. The spouses are quite good, so are the attorneys, to let us know about the divorce orders. And then just a note in terms of divorce orders, if there is a summons that's been issued, then we will not continue with the savings spot withdrawal. So we will advise the member that there's a pending divorce. It must be finalized before a savings spot withdrawal can be taken. Okay, and I think there might be many questions, but we will look at those after the session. I'm then just going to quickly demonstrate our claims process in terms of our web. So this is something that members are aware of. A lot of our members use the NMG member portal. You will essentially log into the member portal to go and view your account. Come 1st September, seeding's going to happen. So I think members are going to rush to the portal to go and see their new balances. But you will log into the web. if you want to make a savings pot withdrawal, you'll click on savings withdrawal. You will then click on the withdrawal to pot. That's the selection that you want to make from your to pot. Then it's going to take you through your steps. So the first step is to insert your income tax number. It will show you if there is a tax number loaded already, that will come up. If you don't have it, you can insert your tax number. It will also tell you if there's a validation error in terms of you've already made a withdrawal. So we won't be able to process one now. Will come up in the validation errors. You'll then move on to step 2 to check your values in the pots. So now you can see here that we can give you your market value. So we can tell you what is in your retirement pot, what is in your savings pot, and what is in your vested pot, split between vested and non-vested. This is a Provident Fund members, so they can see all of their money in the vested pot as well, split between the two types. And this will then help the member to make a decision on how much to withdraw. So we see there's 11,000. You'll go on to step 3 to withdrawal transaction. This step here will help members in terms of what they want to withdraw. So they'll insert their selected withdrawal amount. They'll click recalculate. And what will happen is the system will go and calculate what your expected net payable amount is. So in this case, we can see the tax that was calculated was 2250. So the net amount would be 2750. And we've also inserted a lot of notes to help the member to tell them that this is an expected amount. It is based on the marginal tax rate and your marginal tax rate. Our calculation is based on 45%. So the member can see that's the worst case scenario. So you can expect a little bit less tax. We can't tell you exactly how much it is going to be. We'll only know once we receive the directive back from SARS. And I think it's also important to note that with savings pot withdrawals, if you owe SARS, you're in arrears with your taxes, then SARS can hold back your savings pot withdrawal. So they can go and keep your benefit back in terms of arrear taxes as well that needs to be paid. But if all of that is okay and you want to continue, you'll go to banking details. You'll go and add your banking details. Then you'll just go to the summary sheet where you go and attach your ID document and your proof of bank account. Without that, you won't be able to submit the claim. Once you've done that successfully, then you'll click on send OTP. So through this demonstration, there was no way where a member actually updated their cell phone number. So again, we're reliant upon the information that we receive from you on your schedules. So this OTP is going to go back to the member record on our admin system. It's going to check what the cell phone number is there, and it's going to send an OTP to that cell phone number. So if we don't have a cell phone number, then the member sitting and doing the claim is not submitting their claim is not going to receive it on their cell phone. So there's going to be a query. They're going to phone us, and we are going to take them through the process in terms of advising their employer. The employer needs to update, send the information through to us, then only will we update, and then they can try again. So it is going to field a lot of queries through to the HR departments if we don't have this information on the contribution schedules. But let's say the OTP is received on your cell phone, then all you need to do is just click on submit, and that will submit the claim through to NMG, and then the work starts. So our process will then go and look if the member's record is flagged. If there's no flagging, the claim is going to go through. It's going to validate banking details. It's going to make sure all the validations are there, just as I explained in the WhatsApp process. And then it will disinvest the member's money. It will apply for a tax directive where further validation happens, and then the claim will be authorized and paid to the member. And that's basically the two automated processes. The final process is a claim form. So we'll be issuing and sending out communication with regards to a mailbox that we've created for Two-Pot, where claim forms can be submitted. And those claims are going to take a little bit longer. It is a manual process. And I think also one of the questions that has been raised in previous sessions that we've had is how long will these claims take? So our electronic claims could take about 10 working days, and it can be sooner, but we at NMG are saying 10 working days. And that is if SARS is ready to handle the influx as well. So SARS has asked for values to be submitted through to them and in the industry, and you know, what do we expect the volumes of claims to be? So those have been handed in. So we are hoping and praying that SARS will be ready to take the influx. If they can, then we can deliver on our promise. If not, then we will send out further communication. So there is quite a bit of bustle around that. And then I think the last thing that I want to just demonstrate to you is our new benefit statement that will cater for the Two-Pot system. And I think 1 September, once again, members will want to go and see what the values look like in the new Two-Pot system. So I want to show you what that will look like. Just want to open that up quickly. So you can see it's a whole new, fresh look and feel, totally different. We can see that we open up with your opening value, your investment. We've rolled it forward to December 2024. And then it opens up right on the front page where it will say your savings in the Two-Pot system. So you're going to see your balance in your savings pot, your retirement pot, your vested pot, less any withdrawals if there were, and then your closing balance, which then ties back to your original investment. We've also included a QR code on our benefit statements now, and this is just for members to learn more about their retirement. Are they meeting their income goals, and to educate members a little bit better. On the second page is now your investment summary. So it's going to show you, reflect your monthly contributions, less admin fees, consulting fees, or any other fees in your risk premiums will give you your net contribution. So we've added a note in to say that the contributions allocated to your savings and retirement pots are after fees have been deducted. And 1/3 will be allocated to the savings pot and 2/3 your retirement pot. And then we've got your retirement savings in the Two-Pot system, again as shown on the first page, with a note to say that your total fund credit balance as of 31 August 2024 was 981, of which 30,000 was seeded to your savings pot. So you'll be able to see what was seeded to your savings pot that makes up that value. And then your transaction summary. So in this section, we just have your opening balance, and then plus your contributions during the period, less any fees, divorce orders, and so forth, and your savings pot withdrawals, plus investment returns. So you can see your investment return, and then your total fund credit at the end. And then lastly, we've included, to make it easier for members on the Two-Pot system, is just to have an explanation of what these pots are. So we open up with your fund credit, what that means, savings pot withdrawal, or what are you allowed, your withdrawal benefit in terms of resignation, dismissal, or retrenchment pot. We explain what your options are that are available, your retirement benefit, what you can do with your retirement benefit in these. And then as well, also if the fund has risk, we'll show the death benefit, disability benefit, funeral cover as well. And then just our general notes with regard to any disputes with the funds adjudicator, and what that information is, what the NMG office's registered address is, and that information. But I think it will makes it a bit more simpler for members to understand their benefit statements. And that is what I've got for you today.
So we have a lot of questions. A lot of them I actually think are for you. So I'm going to actually read out the questions. I see some of them are linked to similar, but let's try to go through them. I think we have 25 questions, so let's try and go through them. One of them I've already answered, and the question was, will this webinar be saved or shared with you? Yes, we will. It will be available, so we will share that with you. Ilse, what is the maximum withdrawal that can be done from the savings spot benefit? So we know it's 30,000, but it depends on what that member has available, right? But even if a member has more money available, the maximum that he can withdraw in a tax year is 30,000, right?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of discussion about that, Rizwana, in terms of what is the maximum amount that a member can withdraw from their savings pot every tax year. So just to give a bit of an example, we know that the minimum amount is 2,000 Rand, but the maximum amount, any amount, your full savings pot. So let's say come 1 September, I'm a bit of an older member. I'm on a Provident Fund, so I wasn't 55 at 1 March 2021. So I'm going to be in the two-pot system. But let's say I have 30,000 as my opening balance 1 September, and I don't take a withdrawal. And I let this roll forward. It then goes to the 1st of March 2025. My contributions, my 1/3 contributions are now going into my savings pot. I still don't make a withdrawal. And in 2 years' time, I hit hard times and I need to access cash. And my savings pot balance is then sitting on 130,000, let's say. At that stage, I can take the full 130,000 out. So there's no maximum, there's no limit to how much you can take out of your savings pot. There is, however, a minimum, and it's only allowed once per tax year. So every tax year, I can empty out my savings account if I like, and the following year, it will accumulate again with my contributions. So the savings pot is there for you to access at any time, once a tax year only, but no maximum amount. I hope that answers that question.
Okay, Ilse, the next question we have is, please can you cover the effect two-pot has on members who are over the age of 55? One as at 1 March 2021 when vesting, non-vesting was introduced, and two as at 1 September 2024 when two-pot is introduced. A question linked to it, it says also a member over 55 will have to opt in. So how long after 1 September 2024 will this be allowed?
Okay, so we just look at the first question. Okay, so the first question is members of Provident Fund. So it's only Provident Fund members that are affected by 1 March 2021, not pension fund members. So that piece of legislation was actually there to align Provident Funds to pension funds in terms of retirement. So pension fund members not affected by March 2021. So in that legislation in March 2021, members that were 55 as at 1 March 2021, and they're still a member of the same fund. So they joined the fund prior to 1 March 2021. Those members did not form part of retirement reform in March 2021. So their contributions, ongoing contributions to the fund, was regarded as vested money. What does vested money mean? It simply means that at retirement, I can take any money that is vested as cash, take it all out in cash. So the regulator said in March 2021, members that are 55 are close to retirement age, that have already made plans with what they want to do with their money. So we're not going to implement retirement reform on them. They will continue as they are. Their contributions are going to be vested monies going forward, and at retirement, they can take all their money in cash. Now roll it forward. We are now into two-pot. Same member. He was 55 at March 2021. His contributions are vested going forward. It is now 31 August 2024. This member now, the regulator said, so these members that were 55 at March 2021, still a member of the same fund going into 31 August. We didn't force them into retirement reform. So therefore, their monies remain vested. So we're not going to force them into the two-pot either. They are going to be defaulted out of two-pot. Okay. So for those members, they are going to be defaulted out of two-pot. There won't be retirement savings and vested pots. They are just going to have their vested monies. And when they retire, they can take it all out in cash or purchase a pension, transfer to a preservation fund. But I think the main thing is that at retirement, you can take all your money in cash. If we're looking at members that were younger, so let's just stay on the members that are opted in, opted out at 1 March, 31 August, that were 55 at 1 March 2021, they'll be opted out, they need to opt in. So as to the two-pot system, members of that age would be able to opt in to the two-pot system using the WhatsApp application, or we will provide you with a form to select whether you want to opt into the two-pot system, and we will then action that on the system. So the seeding will take place, the two pots will be created, your savings up to 31 August will then be ring-fenced as vested monies. And then going forward, you're going to have 1/3, 2/3 split into the savings and retirement pots. So you will no longer then form part of that vested pool. I see in the question that it asks about vested and non-vested monies. So your members that were younger than 55 at March 2021 on Provident Funds, their monies would be ring-fenced up to 1 March 2021 as vested, and then ongoing contributions would be non-vested monies. And what that essentially means is when they retire, they're vested, they can take out in cash, non-vested, 1/3, 2/3. So they can take 1/3 of that money in cash and 2/3 they need to purchase a pension. Unless it's less than 247,500, then they can take it out in cash. But going into two-pot, their money will be split like that.
We've got a lot of questions, so we need to go through them. I think the other one is also opt-in, but I think you spoke about opt-in. But I think this one is
sorry to interrupt. We've got a hand up, Ilza, from Footy. It's been up for a while. Sorry, Footy.
He's not going to be allowed to speak now. He has to type it in the Q&A.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
If you could please just type your question in there, and if we don't get to it by the end of the session, we are going to respond.
Okay. Then there's a quick question on how long after 1 September 2024 will this be allowed? So to opt in.
12 months. So by the 31st of August 2025 is what the members over than 55 have to opt in. We haven't had any further discussions around that or changes around that. So for now, it is for 1 year, up to the 31st of August 2025 to opt in. Once you opt in, you can't opt out.
Okay. Then the next question we have here is, does it mean that we are all included in the two-pot system regardless of the fact that one was already 55? I think you've spoken about it in terms of opt-in. Is the savings withdrawal tax-free that is not accumulated with the lump sum tax-free amounts? No, it has covered that. So part of the withdrawal process on WhatsApp and on the web, you're going to get an what your tax indication, an estimated amount of what it will be based on your marginal tax rate, but we will apply for an actual tax directive and we'll get a directive from SARS that will be deducted. It's not tax-free. The next one is answered. Next question is, are the fund categories going to be specific to individual employers? So if an employer does not have a provident fund, would that option then still be shown as a choice? No. When you put in your ID number, it's only going to show the funds that you are a member of. So if you're a member of a fund, it will appear there. With regard to the tax number, we supply that info with the monthly schedules, but I've seen that when withdrawing a member that the leading zero is missing. Would this affect the WhatsApp validation, Ilse?
Yes, so what we are doing as part of the two-part now is with the data that we pull into the system, we will be pulling in the data with the leading zero. So leading zeros will not be dropped. That affects ID numbers as well. So the leading zeros for those that were born in 2020 and 2021, those leading zeros are also dropped. So we're doing a cleanup of our system to include that as well.
Okay, then a member who is 60 years old before 1 September, are they also getting locked in the two-part system? So that's part of the WhatsApp because they fall in the category of over 50, in the opt-in because they part of the over 55 category. What is the WhatsApp number? We will share that with you closer to the time. We'll send that out. Or what is a member does not have access to email? So that is not one of our validations. It just means that the member is not getting our communications that we've been sending out through emails, but it's not a validation to stop a claim. Is there a way to show what impact this withdrawal will have on the future investment? So we're going to see that on your benefit statement, right? All you're going to see is that your value dropped. And that's how you're going to see it on your DB funds. It's going to have the whole calculation change, but we're going to get that from your actuary, and your DB fund statement will look different.
So yeah, if you do take a withdrawal from your savings, it makes your overall retirement investment less. So with your investment, you might see a lower return because the amount that you've invested is now less. So your return will be, it definitely will affect that.
Okay, then we've got a bank account validations, which the technology was answered. So I'm going to move on from that one. Then somebody says, I didn't notice one of the questions being which bank the account is with. It doesn't matter whether it's, as long as it's a South African bank, it goes through the process of validation. The ID number and account number must match, and that will be part of the validation. So it doesn't matter which bank it's with.
Now, also, to add on to that, in the WhatsApp, it's going to ask you for your branch code. So it's a link to your branch code. So when you want to log claims, you're going to have your bank statement. You need to know what your branch code is, and that's how we see what bank it is for.
All right, and then if a member is under debt review, will this affect his or her savings withdrawal? No. Remember, it's only Section 37D deductions that are considered. Debt review, no, it won't affect his benefit. He can do a savings withdrawal, but if he owes SARS money, SARS may attach that entire benefit. What does that mean? So he applied, let's say, for the maximum, and he's entitled to 30,000. SARS will deduct tax from there, and if he owes SARS money, SARS can attach some of that money, so the net amount he receives will be less. So that's just something to note, and I think members need to be aware of that. If they have arrear taxes or if they owe SARS money, that money can be attached.
Now, if I can add to that, Rizwana, that's an important point that Rizwana just raised. So, we can give you an indication of what can be deducted from your savings pot in terms of marginal tax rates. It's not exact, but it's sort of an indication. But if you owe SARS money and they attach your full savings withdrawal, if you took out all your money and they take the rest of it as arrear taxes, you owe SARS, you need to know that we cannot cancel that directive. So once it's gone through, it's gone through. We cannot cancel those directives. So I think if you're someone with financial difficulty and you know your taxes are in arrears, go and check with SARS before you make a savings pot withdrawal. SARS, I think Gus mentioned that SARS might be putting into the SARS site to assist members with savings pot withdrawals, that you can actually do a calculation there, slot in your amount, and you can do a calculation there and then have an indication of what is deducted, and hopefully it will show if you owe SARS. So look out for that communication. I'm not really sure how far they are with that.
Okay, I'm going to ask if we can maybe just extend this by a maximum of 5 minutes, and we can try and get through a few more questions. I know a lot of you have other meetings, so let's just try and go through as many questions as we can. Either very quickly, right? There's a comment here. It would be nice if there was a note to inform the employee that the bank account should be their own and that it will be verified, because they might think that they can put in any banking details.
It will be there. The demo didn't have it in, but these are changes that we made in the last 2 weeks. So it is definitely there. It will tell you we cannot pay into a third-party account. It can only be your own bank account. So yes, it is covered. It will be there.
Okay, and then is there an OTP validation on the WhatsApp process? No. The WhatsApp only works with the 3 validations that we spoke about, which is your ID, employee number, and tax number. What is the turnaround time for claiming funds? We've covered that. 10 working days for the WhatsApp and the web, and up to 20 working days on the manual process, which is claim forms. And if the member is not paying tax in South Africa, it could take longer. Then we have what happens if a member does not have an email address. We've addressed that already quickly. It's not a validation. I think that this is for emergencies, but I see there's no step to verify that this is an emergency withdrawal. Unfortunately, no, this is, it is aimed, and the education is saying for emergencies, but everyone is entitled to withdraw or access their saving pot withdrawal if the rules of the fund have been amended and the FSC has approved the rules of the fund. At which point in the withdrawal process is the member informed of the admin fee of 600? So it's not a flat fee of 600. It's 2.5% of the withdrawal amount selected. So for example, if you're taking 10,000 Rand, it could be 250 Rand. It's a maximum of 600 Rand. So that is the maximum amount, and there's a minimum of 85. It's on the process. When the member puts in how much he wants to withdraw, then he will be notified what is the cost involved, and at that point, he's notified of the cost.
Yeah, this was just for the demo. That is not the actual fee. It's like Rizwana said, yeah.
So the next question is the growth in all 3 pots the same?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that depends on the investment policies, and if you invested in the same portfolio, it will be the same.
Yeah.
Moving forward, after this has been implemented, will our monthly contributions be split between the 2 pots? That is 1/3 of the monthly contributions into savings pot and 2/3 invested in the retirement pot or vested pot? Yes.
It will go into 1/3 savings pot, 2/3 retirement pot, no contributions into vested pot. The last time your vested pot is going to see contributions is at 31 August 2024. No more, except for members over 55. They fall into a different, they are out of 2 pot, so they will get money into their, let's say, vested pot. There is no change for them. But yes, you won't see future contributions into a vested pot.
Okay, and I think this is going to be the last question before, because we're running out of time, is are there going to be webinars to educate employees on the concepts of 2-pot versus withdrawals before 1st of September? I'd request, please, we allow them to orally ask questions, that some may not be able to articulate themselves clearly in writing. So there have been some webinars that have been set up with consultants for members. So you need to chat to your consultant if there's going to be a webinar, and the way the webinar is set up in terms of questions, etc., you can discuss that then your need with your consultants. All right, I think I'm going to wrap here. There are still quite a few questions. We're going to try and respond to those. I'll see if we can respond to these on the webinar itself, so that these can actually, you can get these with the recording. If we can't, then we'll email the responses. All right. Once again, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time and for joining us today. If you have any further questions or think of something afterwards, please feel free to email us through your CRMs or your consultants, or directly to the admin person if you know who they are, and we'll try and assist you and answer all your questions. But thank you to everybody for joining us, for taking the time, and I wish you have a pleasant day further. Thank you.
Thank you.